welcome to the kitchen. I've got George Lamb joining me today. He's on his way over and he's asked for sugar-free cake. So I'm going to make my carrot cake and I think I can replace the brown sugar with dates, but I'm kind of winging it, so wish me luck. I hope it doesn't fail. Welcome to the kitchen.
Thank you for having me.
Lovely to have you here.
Can we make something with like as little sugar as possible? I'm a sugar addict. You know, if I could, I would eat cakes all day, every day, and chocolate all day, every day. I love it.
I am a bit worried that you're not going to like it, but hopefully you will. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make my classic carrot cake, and I'm just basically replacing the brown sugar with dates.
Wicked.
So I've got some boiling water there. So just got some dates. We're going to soften them up. So we just need 65 grams in there.
No problem, chef. Oh, I've overdone it there quite significantly.
Don't worry.
Is that all right?
That's
92.
We'll just pour that away into here.
All right.
And then with sugar, obviously it's what do they call it? It's hygroscopic, isn't it?
Okay.
So that kind of like absorbs a lot of the water from the bake. So I'm just worried in case it's going to be a bit dense. So
okay. I don't mind dense cake. I don't mind. I kind of like.
I don't mind any cake.
No, that's the truth. Actually, my preference would be a dense cake over a fluffy one.
Would it?
Bang on. There you go.
That'll be soft there.
Right. So we're going to kind of steam them.
You can put the oil in the bowl for me, and I should just get my blitzing machine. One question I always like to ask people is, can you remember like your best, like your favourite cake or baking?
My first, my favourite cake ever is this cake. So my dad got a house in a little French village called Silverood, and they had an amazing chocolatier there called Jacques Artois, and he used to make this what was it called? Galette Royale, basically, and it was like a really crisp bottom, like a kind of crisp wafer. It had like a kind of layer of praline, and then it had this kind of like quite dense chocolate mousse over the top, and then it was dusted with cocoa, and it had these tiny little silver kind of baubles around the thing.
Quite sort of like finesse.
Oh. My little sister's a good baker, and she had enough of them to know. So she, on my birthday, she'll usually make me one, and I have that whole ratatouille moment where I go and I eat it, and I'm like, oh wow.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I reckon they're all nice and squidgy now.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's pop them in there.
With the water?
Yeah, put all the water in there. Got it all in my face. Look at that. Really nice to finally meet you, because I've been seeing you, like, you started off in TV like so many years ago, didn't you?
Yeah. I was renting a desk from a guy who had a TV company, and one day he said to me, listen, you owe me some rent, and I was like, I know. And he was like, I've just won the tender to do E4 music. You've always got plenty to say for yourself, and you know a bit about music. Why don't you come and have a bash at that? You can work your rent off, and like, it's a win-win. So then for like 2 years, I was like, I'm doing a bit of presenting whilst I'm figuring out what my next move is.
Right.
And then ended up making game shows. Do you want me to mix this a bit?
Yes, please, yeah. You were a good presenter though, weren't you?
I was all right. I was all right, yeah. I don't feel like that's going anywhere.
I'm worried it's going to be a massive fail now.
No, it's not going to be a fail.
I'll put the eggs in while you're talking.
And so, basically, you end up following the money. I'd been running this whole story of like, when I get to X, I'll be happy, which is obviously not the way to do it. But anyway, that's what I thought it was at the time. And how much air do you want in there?
A bit more, please. Did you feel a bit unfulfilled at this point? I'm getting.
I was no,
you'll ruin it.
You kind of offered that up.
No, sorry. Let me just introduce.
Let's do some cake stuff.
Next ingredients, and then so we've got
carrots, thankfully.
Right. Actually, would you mind zesting the orange?
I'd love
for me
to
while you carry on telling
the
the
orange.
story?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got this job, the bank job, thinking everything would just be great all of a sudden, and of course it's not. You're just working at a slightly different time of day, and you're earning, you earn a bit more money, but really there's not much more fulfillment. And so I was like, right, I'm not doing this anymore.
Really?
And I called my agent, called John, and I was just like, I'm out of here, man. I'm going, and I sold my house.
Wow.
And I went off and did a whole eat, pray, love, and went off around the world for probably 3 years.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's quite brave to do that, isn't it? Because you probably, it's a bit of a risk, isn't it? But
it's definitely a risk.
Yeah, but it's worked out because obviously you're much happier now.
I'm much happier now.
Yeah.
So after a couple of years, I was like, this thing's going to run out soon. What am I going to do? And I was speaking to a friend of mine, and he was like, I'm going to do another restaurant in Ibiza. And I was like, great, I'm coming, this is perfect. I can work 6 months a year, have 6 months traveling, like, ideal. got there, everything you can imagine about this restaurant, like it was like carry-on restaurant kind of thing,
Really?
like it was comedy. And a few weeks in, someone said to me, "Oh, you've got to come and meet my mate. He's a DJ. He's a really interesting guy. Great big tall geek. I'm pretty big. He's massive. This fella. He's called Andy Cato.
Bigger than you?
Yeah, and he looked terrible." Like, but not Ibiza terrible, like partying too much, just like a man on the edge kind of thing. And so the first thing I said to him was like, "Are you all right?" And he was like, "Not really." I said, "What's going on?" He goes, "I sold my publishing rights, which is your pension as a musician, and I bought a farm down in Gascony in the southwest of France. I don't know what I'm doing, and I think I'm going to go bankrupt, and like the whole thing's a disaster, and I was on a tractor at 5 o'clock this morning, and I'm going to be, I'm DJing, I'm getting my money, and I'm going back, and I'm going to go back, and he's just in a cycle all summer doing this thing, and I'm there, I've just spent 3 years with all the gurus, all, looking for the meaning of life or whatever, and I just saw something in this geezer, and I was just like, this is it, this is your guy, basically,
really?
yeah, and I was just like, "You're amazing, can we meet up and because he was like, "I'm back every week," I was like, "Can we meet up every week?" So every week I'd go and I'd have dinner with him, and he'd tell me more about what he's doing, and I was like, you're incredible.
I'm just going to add these.
Do it.
Do you know what this is?
Candied ginger?
Yeah, right, that's all the fruity bit, I think. We're going to be getting on to the flower bit in a minute.
He's a really special man. Anyway, and I just said to him, "Look, I said, can I come down and visit the farm?" I just went out there and looked at what he was trying to do, met the family and saw the ambition of the whole project, and I was just like, I'm down, man. Like, I don't know how I can help you. I don't know obviously I don't know anything about farming, so I can't help you on that, but I'm good at telling stories. I'm good at amplifying things. I can bring energy to stuff.
What sort of farm was he like? What was he sort of doing?
He bought an old. It had been 80 years of conventional maize, which is really heavy industrial, lot of chemicals. And unfortunately, he didn't know before you buy the farm. You should have done a soil analysis and found out how much organic matter's in the soil.
Right.
He had 0.5% organic matter, basically like sterile. When I met him, he was kind of 2 years in. He was in this kind of. He was adamant he was going to do it all organic. And he was in this war of attrition, basically, with like dock leaves and thistles and all these weeds. And actually, now you understand that weeds are messenger plants, right? So they're coming up to tell you about a deficiency in the soil.
Really?
Yeah. And so at a certain point, about 2 years in, he was like, I'm going to go bankrupt. I'm going to have to sell the farm. Was back in the UK, was in a second-hand bookstore, was looking for a book in the kids section for his daughter. Saw this weird old, like tatty old book, pulled it out. It's called An Agricultural Testament by Sir Albert Howard. He was like, "What is going on here? Is this some weird sign? That's not meant to be in there."
Yeah.
Albert Howard's been dead 100 years. Basic thesis of the book is plants and animals have developed over millennia, and they work in perfect symbiosis. So the whole idea of you being a dairy farmer and me being a beef farmer and him being a arable farmer is all a nonsense. All of our ancestors would have been mixed farmers, So old MacDonald had a quack quack and an oink oink, and then they did a bit of everything. That's how farms worked, because that's how biodiversity works, right?
Yeah.
You've got to have a bunch of different stuff going on. He went back to his family. He was like, "Listen, I know we said we were going to sell the farm, but maybe I think we need to have one last roll of the dice." And they're like, "What are we doing now?" And he's like, "I want to get 40 head of cattle. They're nature's composting machine, so they're eating and they're pooping and stomping and eating and pooping and stomping and turning the land over. And all of a sudden, the birds, the bees, and the bugs and everything's coming back in, and you've got all the biodiversity uplift, and you've got life coming back into these fields, basically."
Right.
And so he's like, "I've seen a miracle."
Yeah, because people didn't really understand a lot about. At this point, I'm going to put your special flower in at this point.
Okay, great.
This lovely story, because we are going to be getting.
Well, so where we can get
it's not a special commercial or anything, but
no. So he had his first good crop after the cows,
right,
and then he was trying to sell his grain out to the commodity market, to grain dealers.
Yeah.
And the reality is, the commercial market, the commodity market, everything's by weight.
Right.
Kilograms a kilogram. They're not interested in like, we don't put anything into the waters. There's no value for that. No, not even nutrition. So he was like, "I can't sell this into the market because otherwise I'm going to be at a loss."
Oh, right.
So then he's like, "I need to get further up the value chain. So I need to get a mill." And this is when, like, kind of Wildfarmed, which is what our company's called, that's really, I suppose, when it started in essence. I was with my buddy, we were in the car, and Andy comes on, and before I could say, oh, I'm in the car with my mate, hang on a minute, you know, he just launched into this whole, his crops just failed, I messed this thing up, la 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 la. I needed to get rid of, I needed it to sell it like tomorrow. If I don't have the money for that, I can't get the mill, and if I can't get the mill, I can't unlock the value of the grain, and the total nightmare. Ed's just piped up out of nowhere, gone, hello Andy. He's like, listen, I've been listening to your story for a couple of years and I think it's beautiful what you're trying to do, and I'm in a position where I can help you, so I'm going to send you the money for the mill.
Really?
Andy's there going like hearing angels, basically.
Wow.
Then we tried to go and sell the flour out into the bakers. Now, as you know, baking isn't cooking, baking's science. If you're doing it on a commercial scale, if you changed from...
Put this into
go for it, sorry. Yeah.
Well, this, by the way, this is plain flour.
Right.
I've got some baking powder, a bit of bicarbonate of soda, I've got some salt, and I've got some ginger and cinnamon.
Right.
Because that's going to be giving it its raising agent. Because at the moment you don't have self-raising in the supermarket.
We don't have it in the supermarket. We do the 16 kgs though, if you're into that, but we don't have the little ones at the moment. But we're working on it.
But like you say, yeah, if you have variations in the flour with manufacturing, it does really affect
it's a nightmare. So then we were like, Christ, we can't even sell this flour now. And you know, and it was an English geezer going around French bakers. People knew he was a musician, like he'd got a bit of it, weren't taking him seriously. So then he was like, I think we need to get an oven. By this point, Ed's really into, he's up to his neck in it basically. So he gets him an oven. We opened the first, opened a bakery on the farm and then a little kiosk in the town.
I didn't know this.
And we had the first bread queues in this village since 1945, which for an English geezer to have bread queues in France is massive, basically.
Yeah.
And so this area, the Gascony, it's called the Gers, it's known as being like the bread basket of France.
Right.
The kind of regional manager, of the agriculture or whatever, ended up taking Andy up to Paris, delivering a loaf to the president. He became a Chevalier de Mérite de l'Agriculture. It became a farming knight. We were like, you could see something magical was happening. He had financial security for the first time in 10 years. There were 6 local families earning a living from it.
Wow.
We were selling bread to all the bio shops and the schools and the restaurants. So
put this in the oven, by the way.
Go for it, yeah.
Look at this carrot cake, all specially made for you with no sugar.
Thank you. So yeah, we were sat looking out over this reservoir at the neighbour's field that he just harvested, and he was doing maize over there as well. And there were these big white marks, like in the ground, kind of thing. And I was like, "What's the deal with the white stuff?" And he was like, "That's bedrock." And I was like, "What do you mean bedrock?" He's like, "That's stone." I was like, "Right." And he was like, "Where there's meant to be soil, but because of the way they're farming, all the soil's eroding, so they're getting down to the rock."
Oh.
And I was like, what's the next step of that? He's like, desert. That's desertification. That's how that starts. But hang on a minute, we're only 2 hours south of London. And he was like, yeah, no, this is what I've been trying to tell you. The environmental crisis that we're facing at the moment is going to have a massive effect on how our food's produced, right? We've got a decision. Either we're going to stay here, we turn the farm into a centre of excellence, we build a teaching college, people come and they learn and they go back to their farms, and that'll help. Is it going to be quick enough? I don't know. Or do we go back to the UK where we're better networked and we have a go at doing this thing at scale? And so that's what we decided.
How many years ago was this when you first did that?
5 or 6 years ago.
What was your first, so did you basically have to go to find UK farmers and explain your kind of ethos and then get them to experiment and do it?
Yeah. We went and just found like-minded people who were already doing interesting stuff over here and just say, look, we're thinking about doing this thing. It's not far off what you're already doing at the moment. Would you be interested in coming under a banner and trying to see if we can get... And they were like, yeah, great, we'd love to do that. And then, of course, the next bit is you need to match that ambition in the field with the high street. So we went and started talking to artisan bakers, like, will you take a punt on us? And thankfully, a bunch of people were like, yeah, we will do. We're not a million miles. Our first partners in the UK were Jolene, which is just down the road.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then we started working with these guys called Marmadukes up in Sheffield, who are amazing bakers. Right. And anyway, and then it just went, boom, 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 boom.
So you started kind of quite small businesses.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
yeah.
So I remember seeing your announcement when you were in M&S.
So they were our first big national retailer, and it was massive. It was it was a huge jump for us. Andy had built this pin-up regenerative farm. Our feeling was if we don't do this at scale, how much impact does it actually have?
it's nice to see you talk about it because you're so passionate about it.
Yeah.
What you are doing is actually, it's good because it does make a difference. Like,
Yeah.
it's not being...
No, it feels great. It feels great. I know why I get up in the morning. Like I can make sense of it, basically.
See, with the regenerative farming, I understand that it's kind of having lots of different other species in amongst the
kind of basic principles of it, or the things we're looking for now, are outcomes. Doing in-field measurements is way easier now, and so what we can do is we can just attach ourselves to 4 outcomes, and then how the farmer gets there is their business.
That's interesting.
You know what I mean? The first things we're looking for is every year your soil health has to improve. So we're going to take random soil tests, and we're going to figure out if your soil's getting healthier every year. Next thing's biodiversity. So how do we get more birds, bugs, bees? How do we get more life going on there? Got to make sure you're not having any leaching of chemicals going into the waterway. And then when we test the grain, you can't have any pesticide residue on the grain, basically.
Right, okay.
So that's the full thing. And so what that gives us is a level of traceability and accountability that you're just not getting anywhere else. So we can say, I know exactly who grew your stuff. I knew how they grew it. So yeah, so it's crazy what we've been up to.
When you hear it and you understand it, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for people like you or Andy or whatever realising these things, it is a bit worrying, isn't it?
One of the things that's really important to me anyway, as someone who's come from the media and had a kind of creative background, is like, I want to try and make it fun and interesting. And like when you see our packaging on the shelf, I want it to be alluring, and we've got a disco ball and massive ladybirds and all the rest of it, and like worms on it. And the people in the supermarkets are like, you can't put worms on there. And I was like, get over yourself. Like that's what's happening.
Yeah.
You know? I think that might be our 20-minute timer.
Alexa, stop.
Oh.
I don't think it's quite done yet.
All right.
It's a bit too soft. I'm going to get 5 more minutes. Right, here it is.
Yeah.
Look at that. Doesn't that
looks
look
good, doesn't it?
It does look. Let's see if it's squishy. Okay. Right. Let's get it out. Oh, it's quite a good texture.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what I'm feeling for. It feels nice
it's
to
not
me.
like a brick.
No, feels good.
And while it cools down, we'll just make a topping.
Okay. Perfect.
I'll leave it over here. Let's put some mascarpone into this bowl, and we're just going to make it up until it tastes nice.
Best way, isn't it?
Yeah. So we'll have a little bit of vanilla extract. Vanilla extract's lovely, isn't it? Should we put a bit of orange juice in it?
Yeah. So I'm open.
I'm going to get
I'm easy.
I think that's getting good now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it needs a little hit of maple syrup myself. Try it though.
I'll put a little bit in, maybe like...
I think that's kind of banging.
Do you? Try it.
It's not overpowering.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So do you know the best way to decorate a cake like this?
No, I'm hoping you do.
Just put it in the centre first, because we might not need all of it.
Okay.
So we'll just go round and round and push it to the outside. Do you want it? Should we have it flicky or should we have a swirl?
Flicky feels a bit more relaxed.
Yeah.
Feels like something I can do. How's that?
That's perfect.
Yeah?
I love it. That looks really nice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now we'll finish it off with a nice little pistachio
ring.
On the edge. So what else have you got going on, George? What are you looking forward to next?
Been doing a bit of work with my dad again.
Oh really?
Yeah. So we got invited to go on that celebrity goggle box, and basically everybody remembered like they quite liked us or whatever. So we got offered a bunch of work off the back of it, and that's been really cool because it's lovely working with my dad because I love him and he's great, and we get to hang out and do cool stuff.
Really nice.
And so yeah, that's been great. And Wildfarmed, it really, when you're trying to start any business and get it all going and go out into the world, and particularly if you're going into a bit where you're having to kind of explain the sector, so yeah, that takes a lot of time. So between that and a bit of work with Dad and walking the dog, and that's me. Yeah, I'm good.
Should we? Okay, look at the plates. Looks quite a nice texture.
Yeah, feels like a good.
Do you think it might be perfect? I don't know.
Let's hope so.
It looks quite good. See what you think.
It's delicious.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Don't you think?
I think it's really nice. It's
It's much better.
a lovely texture.
I'm getting a lot of ginger from that actually,
You
which
can
I
taste
love.
more flavours.
Yeah.
Wow, I think that's it's a great success. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sorry to talk with my
Cheers.
mouth full.